This demo is for Instant Pot sweet and sour meatballs with or without rice. Did you know that the origin of sweet and sour meatballs came from China? This is why I am using Asian-inspired music in the background. In addition to your 6 or 8 quart Instant Pot, you will need some sort of hard spatula. If you're doing the rice with this, you will need a trivet that's fairly tall and a pot to put your rice in. You'll need water to go with the amount of rice that you're making, a strainer. You will need 2 bowls, one that will have meat in it, measuring spoons for a tablespoon and teaspoon, the sling if you're going to use it for the rice, as well as some measuring cups, cutting board, and knife if you haven't chopped up the ingredients in advance. For ingredients, you will need 1 pound of ground meat of your choice. I'm using venison and pork, a teaspoon of dill weed, not seed, half a cup of finely chopped spinach, 1 egg, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt or whatever salt suits your fancy, a tablespoon or so of olive oil. I'm using garlic infused and I will not be using garlic in this recipe. Then you will need half of a cup each of diced pineapple, diced tomatoes, and diced celery, a heaping cup of finely diced onion, or it's about a medium onion, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 cup of either stock or broth or water. I've used a mix of half and half, a heaping 1/4 of a cup of honey, 2 to 3 tablespoons of arrowroot powder or cornstarch, and whatever amount of rice you would like for this recipe. I'm using 1½ cups. So let's start the recipe now. Get your meat together in a bowl, add 1 teaspoon of the dill weed, the half a cup of finely chopped spinach, as well as 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of salt. Now you can add in your teaspoon of garlic powder if you're using it. Turn on your Instant Pot now to saute at whatever preset time is fine. Just press start because we want to heat this up so that the meatballs can go right in once we're done. And now is the fun part. We get to take out our aggression on the meat. If you're using a mixed meat, you really do need to mix it well. And then start making 1-inch meatballs and put them in the extra bowl. Now that our Instant Pot is nice and hot, add the oil and start putting your meatballs into the pot. You might need some sort of tongs here. Put them in and let them sit for a bit until the bottom is browned, and then just repeat the process of moving them around in order to get a sear on all of them. If you have enough oil, there really shouldn't be an opportunity for these to stick, so you probably won't even need to deglaze. While those are searing, we can make the sauce that's going to go on top. So add all the rest of the ingredients. That would be the 1/2 cup each of pineapple, tomatoes, and celery, as well as the 1 cup of onions, the 1 tablespoon of ketchup, the 2 tablespoons of the vinegar. You'll see that I just added 1 here, but it actually needed 2. 1 tablespoon of the soy sauce, and then the stock broth or water. Don't forget about the 1/4 cup or so of honey. I used a bit of a heaping 1/4 of a cup of honey. It doesn't matter if it's not melted either, because it will melt in the Instant Pot. Give it a bit of stir. Make sure that there isn't anything stuck on the bottom of your Instant Pot, and take that sauce and pour it over top, but just leave it as is, just spread it out a little bit. And now we need to add in the rice and put in the trivet. So I found 1.5 cups of rice was perfect for the amount of meatballs with this dish. So that's what I'm using. When you put the trivet in, just jiggle it around a little bit so that you're not going to stab your meatballs. Add your rice to the strainer and give it a really good rinse. Once it's rinsed, add it to the water in your pan. Add a teaspoon or so of butter or ghee or oil or nothing. Put it on the trivet, and don't forget to add a little bit of salt. I've added 1/2 teaspoon of salt to the rice, and then cover it. Add it to the Instant Pot. Once that's done, just put your lid on and turn it. Make sure that the valve is on sealing, not venting. Set your timer for pressure cook or manual on some Instant Pots. Set it for 6 minutes on high, press start. And when it's done, we're going to give it a 10-minute natural pressure release. When 10 minutes is up, hit cancel on your Instant Pot and press the sealing valve so that it vents all of the steam that's left out. In the meantime, let's make our slurry to make this sauce thicker. I started off with 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, equal amount of water. Give it a mix. Then you will be adding it to the Instant Pot once you take your rice and trivet out. Give the meatballs just a very gentle mix. You can see that they are still intact and it really looks good. Now set the saute function again on your Instant Pot so that we can cook the slurry into the mixture and make that sauce thicken. Give it a very gentle stir to mix that slurry around, and then once it is bubbling very quickly, so it's a rolling boil, hit cancel on the Instant Pot. It will cook. Then add in any more of the slurry if you feel that it needs to be thickened further. Time to fluff up that rice and get this served up. It really smells good. This was so good. The addition of the dill in the meatballs was unique and really welcomed. For my husband and I, we both gave it the top of our scale, which is excellent. Thank you so much to Carolyn from Carolyn's Healthy Kitchen for allowing me to adapt this recipe for Instant Pot.